Here on behalf of the Gathering of Christ Church, we come out to teach all nations, baptize in the name of Christ. And the reason why we out here, as the brother mentioned, is because there's some serious events that have been taking place consistently, that have been transpiring that we haven't been paying attention to like we're supposed to. It's actually prophecy according to the Bible. We all heard of the mark of the beast. We all heard of the return of Christ, but we don't know what steps is going to lead up to the return of Christ. What revelations is being revealed to us in these last days that we should be paying attention to. And the problem is because a lot of the churches, the Christian churches, are watered down, like the brother mentioned earlier. So you're not receiving the edification that you must. That's why we come out here today, and we come out here as much as we can to bring you that understanding so you can prepare yourself and deliver yourself and your families from the tribulation that's coming. Now is not the time for us to follow our imaginations, because our imaginations have been imagineered or engineered since we was kids. Walt Disney, one of the most perverse persons that ever lived on this earth, have been engineering perverseness in all of our imaginations, setting up child stars that turned out to be wicked adults, strung out on drugs. And everybody that grows up watching these child idols ends up lost, just like these child idols do when they get older. But on top of that, you have your music idols that also cause us to go astray according to our imagination, promoting more wickedness. So how are we going to be vigilant in these times if we're not looking through spiritual eyes and we're looking through fleshly eyes and worldly eyes? And we get Daniel chapter 12. Now is the time that the Bible makes more sense than ever, because all the prophecies are coming to pass. And there's no way around it. The blacks and the Hispanics are the children of Israel. And when Christ comes, he's coming to redeem all the oppression, the slavery, the poverty, everything that we're going through is what Christ is coming back for, to restore us from. Your salvation is your life insurance. It's time for you to claim your right into the kingdom and come back to your heritage. Let me get Jeremiah 17:4. Because in the Christian church, they're not going to teach you these things that you have to be vigilant about that's coming to pass. That's a blueprint against you. Jeremiah chapter 17.
Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee.
So this is the Most High, the Lord saying that even you blacks and Hispanics shall discontinue from the heritage that he gave you. Why is that? Because we've been destroyed by oppression, slavery, conditioned into a new identity by the oppressors, the Europeans. So when you see your fellow distant relative, there'll be no way for you to identify them. They split our tongues up. Some of us speak English, others speak Spanish. This is not the heritage that God gave us. So now it's time for us to come back to our heritage so we can deliver ourselves and deliver our families from the cataclysms that's going to come to pass very soon. You think this government shutdown is by mistake? You think this government shutdown is not going to affect you? You keep listening to Jay-Z and listen to all these so-called stars that you admire. It's going to lead you into blindness. All your shows and the shows that you like, Scandal, reality shows, the Kardashians, all these different shows is keeping you distracted from delivering yourselves. Read.
And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies, in the land which thou knowest not.
So this is the prophecy of God telling his chosen people, the children of Israel, that you will discontinue your heritage, your blacks and Hispanics, and you be serving your enemies in a land that you know it's not. This has come to pass because now in this melting pot, Babylon, land of confusion, land of diverse tongues, of multitude of kindreds, they're serving here in a land that they know it's not. But they're quick to say that they're American. Why would you want to be American now when we're no longer a superpower? By 2016, China will be the leading superpower in the world. We owe China $17 trillion. We spent almost $1.8 trillion in the war in Iraq for no reason. Why would you want to claim a heritage that's not yours? It's time to come out of that. Because while you're in a deep sleep, all these things that's coming to pass, government shutdown, FEMA can't, NDAA Act, all this is designed as a blueprint to get the blacks and Hispanics and FEMA camps to serve off their servitude. You might say, what servitude is that? You got student loans? That's going to be your servitude. You got a mortgage to pay? That's going to be your servitude. You're going to have this mark of the beast planted in you because you're going to need to feed your families. And I'm going to tell you something. All it takes is for the right calamity. All it takes is the right tragedy for them to have you running into these so-called shelters and detention centers. Just look at Hurricane Sandy, for instance. The result of Hurricane Sandy caused the state of New Jersey to sign a contract with Verichip so they could track you with the mark of the beast just in case they lose their loved ones in a hurricane or a storm. All it takes is the proper pretext. And we'll be running in fear because of destroyed homes, because of floods, because of all these different things. And then we'll be in in the hands of where we don't need to be. The Christian churches ain't going to tell you to deliver yourself. They're going to tell you to wait on the rapture, which is a false doctrine. That no matter where you at, that God is just going to take you out of where you at. You could be on a train, you're just going to disappear. You could be driving a bus, you're just going to disappear. How much of a fairy tale does that sound like? Let me tell you something. The Most High God, your Lord and Savior, has laid things out in the Bible more practical than that. These are basic instructions. You start by keeping the commandments, then the wisdom from the Holy Spirit will be instilled in you, and you'll know how to maneuver in these last days the way you're supposed to. And I ask everybody, what eyes are you looking through? Are you looking through spiritual eyes or are you looking through worldly eyes? Because if you're looking through worldly eyes, then all you see is Lil Wayne. All you see is Jay-Z. All you see is LeBron James. All you see is Beyonce. All you see is Rihanna. That's just your flesh eyes. If you saw it through your spiritual eyes, you'll be able to recognize Christ's disciples standing before you, giving you the word, giving you the warning, giving you the understanding of your destroyed history. That's what you will see with your spiritual eyes. But you see through your flesh eyes. All you see is a Mercedes-Benz. All you see is a Lexus. All you see is Nikes. All you see is Adidas. This is your fleshly eyes. If you saw it with your spiritual eyes, you will see prophecy. You will see the government shutdown as a setup. You will see Babylon has fallen as the movie Olympus has fallen. You will see White House down shows the government shutdown. These are your spiritual eyes. So I ask you again, what eyes are you looking through? Because if you look through your spiritual eyes, you will see that every movie that has came out in 2013 and 2012 has been an implementation of prophecy. Now it's time for us to wake up out of sleep. You can either be of the night or you can be vigilant of the day. If you be of the night, you be drunk in the night and you be asleep all day. Let me tell you, all the laws get passed during the day. So you choose which eyes you want to look through. Spiritual eyes or eyes of the flesh. Eyes of the flesh, all you see is magazines, glamour, vanity, Source, XXL. These are eyes of the flesh. A spiritual eye will see Huffington Post, before'snews.com. You will look into sources like RT. You will pay attention to more current events around the world. These are your spiritual eyes through the Holy Spirit giving you wisdom. Instead, what do we look at? World Star. These are your eyes of the flesh. When are we going to wake up when the history that's written in the Bible is about you, blacks and Hispanics? Everything that will transpire coming out of this government shutdown will affect you. Let me get Matthew 9 and 36. You get that for me, bro. Matter of fact, that's Daniel. Read that. Let me get Matthew 9 and 2.
The book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 2. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament.
So they that be wise in these times that we living in, will understand that we're living in a very dangerous time to be asleep. And if you be wise, you'll shine as bright as the firmament, which is the heavens. Because these things that was written in the Bible, not even the prophets were able to see, because it was given to our generation, a remote generation. Start from verse 1 again.
And at that time shall Michael stand up, and great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be time of trouble.
There shall be what?
Time of trouble.
So while we sit here collectively in our own imaginations, walking in our rebellion, in our liberty and our freedom, because America is based on freedom, right? Freedom of speech, freedom of a corrupt tongue, freedom of imagination. As we walk around in this freedom of imagination of the things that we think according to our devices, our smartphones, our plasma TVs, our luxury cars, we're in a time of trouble, a great time of trouble. Read it again.
And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there a nation, even to that same time.
The time of trouble that we're going to witness in this generation is going to be like a time that has never been witnessed before. So it's very important that we start to wake up out of sleep. Let me get Matthew chapter 9, verse 36 of it.
But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd.
These sheep that were scattered abroad as the sheep that have no shepherd are your children of Israel today. Christ said go to the lost sheep. Only people that you see out here lost is the blacks and Hispanics. We're the only ones that's out here killing each other. Blood touching blood. We go to church, but they're not teaching us anything according to prophecy. I want to see when you go to church Sunday if they're going to talk about this government shutdown and see how it's going to play a role in our lives. I dare you. I dare you ask your pastors where is it written of in the Bible where martial law will take place. I dare you. Read on, dare you.
Everyone. And at that time thy people shall be delivered. Everyone that shall be found written in the book.
Everyone that's found and written in the book, they shall be delivered. But this ain't going to be an easy process. Read.
And many of them sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end.
Seal the book even to what?
The time of the end.
All this that's coming to pass has been left for our generation. How beautiful is that? See how the Most High, how he works? But this is not a time to be fearful. This is a time to rejoice. Because there is a Savior, there is a Redeemer. And that's why I ask you again, what eyes are you looking through? Your spiritual eyes or your carnal eyes? Let me get Job chapter 10, verse 4.
Hast thou eyes of flesh, or seest thou as man seeth?
Do you have eyes of flesh, or do you see as a wise man see?
Or thy days as the days of man, or thy years as men, or as thy years man's days?
Which one you living by? You living as a man of the Most High, or your days just going by according to the society that we live in? It's time to open our eyes. Let me get Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. Let me get Job chapter 13, verse 1. We got to stop following our imagination, because our imagination is going to be our own destruction. We have to come together as a people, blacks and Hispanics. We can't let the division of knowing Spanish stop us from coming back to the Most High, stop us coming back from our Lord. We are oppressed together. We are going through the same tribulations together. Read.
Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 10. This evil people, which refuse to hear my words.
Now this evil people, when it says evil, it doesn't have to be natural evil, it could be morally evil. You can hear this word and say, you know what? That doesn't sit right in my heart. So if you disagree with God's word, you're evil. You don't have to kill somebody. You don't have to rob somebody to be evil. Just you disagreeing with what God says makes you evil. Now that the majority of us are following our imagination, that's evil. Like I said before, our imagination just didn't come to us. It's been conditioned since our youth. And since in our youth, we've been watched by television. The television babysits us. All the perversion that's on television. We grow into these perverse people, these evil people. Sold the image of the beast. We're sold that through television. That renders our imagination. It's called imagineering, which is engineering of the imagination. That's what the elite do. So now that your imagination has been fully engineered, and you think that you're an individual, you're evil. You're walking around disagreeing with the word. Not knowing that we are a nation together. Read on with that.
This evil people which refuse to hear my words, which walk in the imagination of their hearts.
Which walk in the imagination of what?
which walk in the imagination of their hearts, and walk after other gods.
They walk after their idols. They walk after LeBron James, Jim Jones, Lil Wayne's. These are their gods. You know, they want to be football players. They want to be Victor Cruz. These are their gods. They walk after these things and they think it's safe. It's not safe. Because that's not of the spirit. That's of the carnal. That's of this world. They walk after other gods. They want to follow whatever religion they want to follow. Instead of following your heritage. This is not a religious battle that we fight. Because we have an identity. Read on.
And walk after other gods to serve them and to worship them.
So we serve your Jay-Z's. We serve your Drakes. We buy their songs. We buy their albums. We recite their lyrics. And that becomes a form of worship. That's how we start. That's how we serve them. Oh, get your pre-order of my album. That's a decree they sent to you to do. And since you worship them, you serve them. You buy their albums. You buy their sneakers. These are your gods. Let's start at the top of the verse again.
This evil people, which refuse to hear my words, which walk in the imagination of their hearts.
A lot of us tonight come out here, they hear the word, they refuse to listen, and they follow their imagination. I guess the imagination has your safety, it has your salvation packed in it. Read.
And walk after other gods to serve them and to worship them, shall even be as this girdle, which is good for nothing.
So even at your job, if you love your job so much and you love your boss, that becomes your God. To serve them. If that's what you're all about, if all you about is money, at the end of the day, it's going to come to nothing, because it's not about you as the individual. It's about the nation of people. It's about the blacks and the Hispanics. It's about the judgment that's coming to America. It's about the diminishing of the dollar. It's about the debt ceiling that's coming very soon. It's about us revisiting 2008. It's about $17 trillion in debt that we owe to China. It's not about your imagination. It's not about who you think you are, but who you really are. It's not about your imagineering. It's about prophecy. It's about whether you believe or not, it's going to go down. The government shutdown will affect you. If you're seeking benefits, food stamps, and things of that nature from this government agency, it shall affect you. Your imagination will be obsolete at this point. Read it again, top of the verse.
Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 10. This evil people,
There's people that disagree, read.
which refuse to hear my words,
They disagree with God's word, read.
which walk in the imagination of their heart,
Which walk in their own understanding of things, their imagination of their heart, because they're protected by their evil thoughts, read.
and walk after other gods,
They walk after all their idols, read.
to serve them and to worship them, shall even be at this girdle, which is good for nothing.
At the end of the day, when everything is the fan, your idols, your LeBron James, your Rihannas, your Beyonce that you listen to, and your iPhones, and your Galaxies, it should be good for nothing. They will not deliver you. All they do is play a role in your evil imagination. Let me get Joe.
The book of Job, chapter 13, verse 1. Lo, my eyes have seen all of this. My ear have heard and understood it. What ye know, the same do I know also. I am not inferior unto you. Surely I will speak to the Almighty and desire the reason with the Most High.
See, a man that's woken up, that's what he gonna say when these things come to pass. Read that again. Loud and clear, brother.
But surely I will speak to the Almighty, and I desire the reason with God. Lo, my eyes have seen all of this.
The government shutdown.
My ear have heard and understood it.
I hear wisdom and understanding. Read.
What ye know the same do I know also. I am not inferior unto you. Truly I will speak to the Almighty, and I desire to reason with God.
See, those that understand what's going on, we're not going to be inferior to these idols in the land. Surely we're gonna consult with the Most High to deliver ourselves out of this coming plagues that's coming to America. What you got, Art? Nothing? Let me get Revelations 18 and 2. Drop that. Let me get Mark chapter 13. And Zamal, let me get 1 Thessalonians. Now it's time to wake up, ladies and gentlemen. Our imagination will be our own destruction. When we imagine things to be, this wasn't just something that you came up with. This has been engineered. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. All your Walt Disney films, there is no mother in the household. There's no parents in these Walt Disney films. All the parents died. So right there, what they're giving you is the image of a broken household. There's always a rebellious daughter against a stepmother. That's not even their real parents. There's always wicked sisters. So it's showing you there's a rebellious daughter that goes after somebody, some strange thief who fights with her sisters, living with step-parents. So this is your imagination, because at the end of the story, what happens? This princess runs off with this guy, and that's the end of it. What happens after that? Then you got these child stars that grow up innocent with us, and then when they turn to a teenager, they strung out on drugs, and they have split personalities. So since we grow up with these child stars that's in Walt Disney, we develop multiple personalities, and then we get engineered by the music industry. But now, since it's in the hands of the wicked, what we getting engineered into is dynamic vessels, fornicators, adulterers, idol worshipers. Lovers of pleasures instead of lovers of God. All this preoccupation that we occupy ourselves in, meanwhile, the government is planning your demise and planning our destruction. St. Mark's, chapter 13, verse 28.
St. Mark, chapter 13, verse 28. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When her branch is yet tender, and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is near.
So when you see things like a government shutdown, you know, services that you receive starting to stop, then you know that you have to pay attention. Just like you see a leaf, the change of the seasons, the way the leaves fall, you're supposed to look at events the same way. Because this country is not going to recover from this death that we have. Revelation chapter 18, verse 2.
The book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen.
That's America. The great America has fallen. Read on.
And is become the habitation of devils.
This is a habitation of devil. Every day you see a shooting go on at the Capitol, the Navy Yard. There's just random shootings at schools. It's the habitation of devils. All this is tied into each other because it's a part of prophecy. It's a part of America's collapse.